I would like to invite up Daniela Bas. Daniela is the Director, Division Inclusive Social Development, Department Economic and Social Affairs from the United Nations. So we cannot wait to hear what Daniela has to say in closing. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, you can hear me. So I made it. Resilience, women, being physically fit, mentally fit. It's snowing outside, so you can imagine how tough it is to catch a taxi. So that's, but I'm very glad to be here. I prepared the speech. Actually, my staff prepared the speech for me, but actually I will be talking based on my experience, professional and personal. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to give some closing remarks here from the United Nations perspective. And you might wonder, what does it, how does it fit with what we do? Oh, by the way, I'm not USA, as you can guess from my accent. I live in an international world. I live in an international, my work, UN. I live in an international city. And the beauty of sport is that sport can unite people, doesn't matter the age, the ability, the gender, the ethnicity, where they come from. So sport is an amazing tool to promote dialogue and multilateralism. And this is one of the roles that women in leadership positions, and particularly if they're working somehow in a field related to sport, it can be health, nutrition, not necessarily just being an athlete, just. So this is actually what allows me, working at the United Nations, to do, is to unite member states around an issue. In this case, is sport, for development and peace. The United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs has been tasked by the Secretary General of the UN through the division I have the honor to lead, which is the division that promotes inclusive social development, has been tasked to deal with a mandate globally on sport for development and for peace. And this is why the role of women is fundamental. Women often promote dialogue within their families, right? We have this tendency to try to find and negotiate solutions for the well-being of the family. And then it becomes the well-being of the community. And then it becomes the well-being of governance. This is in us. Okay? So, the United Nations, so I am a woman in a leadership position. I am a woman with a disability, and therefore I lead by example. And I have to say that sport activities, particularly archery, as you can see from my shoulders, and swimming, it's amazing. It's focus and discipline when it comes to archery. And this is something that we women can transfer to younger generations, be that they are our children or not. This sense of self-esteem, self-confidence, okay, and resilience. Now, in 2015, member states decided, 194 member states, the members of the United Nations, decided to adopt something called 17 goals that matches beautifully with those who play, well, not really basket, but definitely soccer or American football, okay? Goals, 17. And we needed to be united to reach these 17 goals. And they are within the frameworks of the 2030 agenda, meaning these 17 goals should be achieved by the year 2030. And there are two that are universal. Eradication of poverty. Now, just think how many things a sport for development and for peace can do to eradicate poverty, extreme poverty. I can see tons of those. And SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goal 10, reducing the gap of inequalities. But then, among these 17 goals, there is also the goal 5, Sustainable Development Goal 5, gender balance. And I could go on and on. But what's really interesting from my perspective, since I have been tasked with the division I lead to promote the substance of the mandate we have received on sport for development and peace, that is included in the preamble of the 2030 agenda. So it touches all these 17 goals. SDG, so there we call them. Sustainable Development Goal 1, eradication of poverty. Sustainable Development Goal is nutrition and livelihoods. Sustainable Development Goal 3, health. SDG 4, education. SDG 5, gender. SDG 6, oceans. Can you imagine how many sports we play when it comes to oceans? We don't think of those. And I could go on and on. SDG 8, employment. Think of the industries, the sport of industry, sport industry. In Italian, we do the reverse. The sport industry, okay, touches all these fields, including tourism, just to mention one that is really explosive, of medicine. It's amazing. And then, so SDG 8, employment, particularly now that markets are changing and STEM is everywhere, science, math, engineering, technology, STEM is everywhere in all industries. So I think of technology, the role that technology is playing when it comes to sport, and how we have to support, or assistive technologies, again, to play sport, or being physically active. You know, a sport is not just being an athlete, it's just also being physically active. When I push my assistive technology, my wheelchair, I'm physically active. It's important. Mens sana in corpore sano, we say in Latin, no? A healthy mind in a healthy body. So I can see, and then we move on, and there is SDG 13, climate. The actions that we women can play, women who believe in sport, in promoting action in climate. And then there is SDG 16, for instance, that deals with social justice, sport as an ambassador of social justice. And the last one that I really love is SDG 17, cooperation, international cooperation. And here we come back with women. All women in leading positions that somehow are working in the world of sport, directly or indirectly, have the power by making sure that these goals promoted by 194 countries are implemented in your daily work. You have a roadmap. Use it. Let's use it. And with the work we do at the United Nations, we give the space for all stakeholders, actors, to come to the United Nations and share with us your ideas, your good practices, or what needs to be done. Because the power I have is then to prepare, that it might sound bureaucratic to you, but trust me, it works. We just have to be patient. It takes time to put together 194 heads. Think of your family. When you want to eat something in the evening, what are we going to eat? I want this, I want that, da, da, da. Or which movie or stuff are we going to watch on television? We have 5 people, 5 different ideas. So it takes about half an hour sometimes to negotiate and find an agreement within 5 members of the same family who speak the same language and who have the same religion and values. So imagine the massive work we have to do to put together 194 different languages, religions, laws, legislations, government. It's tough. Beliefs and values. You can help us. We women in leadership positions can help to achieve that, also using sport, as I said, which is in the preamble of the 2030 agenda with its 17 goals that is defined as an enabler of development and peace. and peace. And peace. In times of crisis, of shocks, of pandemics, of natural disasters or man-made disasters like conflicts, for instance, the amazing role that we women in leadership positions, be that they are at a governmental level or in our family or in our community, we are leaders there too. How we can help those who are going through difficult situations through sport and physical activity, to release some tension and find that kind of humanity that helps us to find some peace and relief, and governance as well. So I could share more. I was given 5 minutes. I know that I have gone beyond those 5 minutes, but I do really hope that, would you like to engage in the space that UN gives? Please do. You will find us on the website, DESA, Department of Economic and Social Affairs, Division for Inclusive Social Development. We organize events and meetings. Please do join us. Let's unite our strengths together as women in leadership positions, whatever we lead, wherever our position is. Thank you so much.